If you want a prolonged stanchion wear like this, then your best bet is to stay on top of your 50-hour or so services. Hey folks, we're back again with another video, and today we're going to be working on a Rockshox 35 Silver TK. We're going to be doing a full service on this fork, full 50-hour lower service, full air spring service, and full damper service. All forks need to be serviced. It's just a question of time. The most important service, in my opinion, is a 50-hour lower leg service. Same thing with a shock. 50-hour service is super important. Why? Well, it helps protect your stanchion, folks. As you can see, this one's already discoloring when compared to the rest of it. So I have no idea the history of this fork. A friend of mine had bought it used. It was dirty as hell when I got it. Cleaned it up, and I thought it was in worse condition than it was, but it turned out to be not all that bad on the outside, and now we're going to find out what it's like on the inside. So with that being said, let's get into the tools and parts needed for this job. As for tools, we're going to start off with the 50-hour service, and in order of use, first, pen and a paper, pencil and a paper to write down our settings, a shock pump in order to get our PSI from our air side. Then we're going to go to the bottom. We are going to remove our nuts, 5mm Allen for both sides, and a mallet in order to separate the shaft from the lowers. So then we're going to separate the shock. You're going to need an oil pan to put the oil into. Then we're going to remove the foam rings first, and then we're going to remove the wipers. For the wipers, I use this tire tool over here. It's a nice thick plastic coating. You could use a regular wrench. Just be careful you don't chip your fork. So then we're going to clean everything up. I have this little ritual that involves a dowel, rubber band, and paper towel and alcohol. So what comes in handy to soak your foam rings while we're working on the air side and the damper is just a little container. You can get them from a dollar store. Then when we clean it all up, second part of the 50-hour service, grease everything up, put everything back together. We're going to need a wiper installation tool, in this case a 35mm. And we put it all together and finish up with torquing down the nuts with a torque wrench. Next up, let's go over the air spring and damper tools. There's not many tools needed for the air spring and the damper. Let's start with the air spring. 24mm chamferless socket in order to take off the air cap. Then we're going to take out the air spring cartridge. It is a cartridge in this fork. We're going to separate the cartridge. We don't need any tools for that. You're going to need picks to change out the seals, and then we're going to clean everything out. The cartridge cleans out like the lower leg, so you're going to need a dowel, paper towel, rubber band, and alcohol in order to clean all that out. We put it all together, and then we torque back down the top cap with a torque wrench. Then we move to the damper. Damper, 2.5mm Allen to take out the knob. Then we're going to take our 24mm chamferless socket to take out the compression stack. Once the compression stack is out, we're going to empty out the oil inside. You're going to need an oil pan. Then we're going to take out the rebound through the inside to the top where the compression stack is. What comes in really handy to do that safely is a 6 to 8mm dowel to help you push it through without scratching the sides. So then we're going to remove the seal head. To remove the seal head, there's a retaining ring on it. A flathead screwdriver is going to come in handy to remove that retaining ring from the seal head. And then to remove the seal head, you're going to need a dowel that's about 15mm in diameter to help push it through the other side. You will see that later. Then we clean everything up. Clean the seal. It cleans up just like the air side and the lower legs. Damper, plastic rubber band, paper towel, and alcohol. Then we put everything together. Then we are going to fill it up with oil. You're going to need a graduated cylinder because we have to fill it up to a specific amount of oil before we close it all up. And when we close it all up, we're going to need, once again, a torque wrench in order to torque down the compression stack. That's pretty much it for all the tools. If I'm missing anything, I'm sure we'll go over it. Let's go into the parts needed for the job. As for parts, we're going to need a seal kit, part number 00.4318.025.150. This is a 200-hour kit. It includes everything we need for this job, and I'm going to be using SRAM butter with this kit. For oils, on the damper side, Rockshox wants you to get their Rockshox 5-weight oil. I don't have it. I'm going to use Maxima 5-weight oil. It's basically the same thing as a Rockshox oil. Might even be Rockshox is probably rebranded from this. As for the lower legs, now Rockshox wants you to use their 15-weight oil, which I don't have. 0W30 was their lower leg oil for years. Technically, this got replaced by Maxima Plush Light, I believe. But I want to empty out this bottle. I'm just going to use the 0W30 oil on this one. Again, this is the lowers. This is not going to impact it. Person won't notice a difference at all, I'm sure. All right, well, let's get into opening up this fork. Before we work on a fork, you want to make sure it is as clean as you could possibly get it. This one here came to me super, super dirty. The whole back of the arch over here was just caked and filled with dirt. The inside of the steer tube was filled with mud. Get rid of all of that, because when you put it all together at the end, you do not want any of that falling inside. It'll literally destroy it. So, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take our air pressure. This is, I don't have to worry about the air pressure or any of the settings on this particular fork. I'm just going through the motions. Basically, take off the cap, put it on the side, put your shock pump in there, and write down the pressure that you see. Again, you do lose some pressure. This one's 104, so most likely, let's say 105 to 106, somewhere in there, right? You lose 2 or 3 psi. So let's say 104. Can you see that? Yeah. So then we're going to slowly take out the air. Again, slowly, slowly, slowly. The slower the better, so we can more evenly remove air from both chambers. That's what we're going to do, is grab a piece of paper towel, put it over the valve, grab it like a 3mm Allen or something to press down the valve, and then push down the whole fork just to make sure all the air is out from both chambers. All right, make sure it goes all the way down. Let go. There we go. Now for this fork, we only have a lockout and an open, so let's leave it on the open, fully counterclockwise. And if we go down to the rebound, again, we want to open it up and count the clicks. For me, it doesn't matter, but you're going to count the clicks. Now, these things are inconsistent, in my opinion. Not exactly the greatest rebounds here. So just count the clicks best you can. Why is that one all the way open? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, yeah, that one was all the way open, so I don't have to worry about it. But just count your clicks counterclockwise. Next, we're going to grab a 5mm Allen, and we are going to turn our nuts counterclockwise to open them up. For the rebound, we're going to pull off the rebound knob, right? So just pull it straight out. Might be a little bit stiff. Pull it off, put it on the side for now. And again, another 5mm Allen here. Turn it. Oh, this one's stiffer, that's for sure. Okay. Let's do it by hand. Take this one. Not all the way out. Leave it in about 3 full threads, right? So you can see literally 3 full threads. So don't take it all the way out. Then we're going to grab a mallet and we're going to tap them to separate the shafts on the inside. Just like that. Now we could grab our 5mm again. Remove the the bolts. Separate the lowers, get your oil pan, put your fork in it, and separate the upper from the lower. Wow, got all that dirt coming out. Jeez. And let them drain. It's a good sign, at least there's oil coming out. All right, separate it completely. All right. What does that look like inside? Hard to tell. Oil looks really dirty, actually. So, but you can see over here that, again, if you stay on top of your 50-hour service, folks, it takes a lot longer to start wearing out your stanchions, right? Very simple service, very cheap. Just stay on top of it, and the results are always outstanding. So, yeah, let's let this drain for a bit, and we will be back. Next, we're going to go inside and take out the foam rings. Grab a pick, take the foam ring, pull it out. It's not that bad a shape, actually. Technically, that one there is reusable, is dry for some odd reason, like really dry, probably because this fork hasn't been moved in a long time. But, I mean, it's really, really dry. But, oh well, we're going to be replacing it completely. And then we want to remove the wipers. To do that, grab a tire lever tool, preferably one that has a thick plastic coating, or a wrench. If you use a wrench, just make sure you protect your paint over here, because wrenches can chip it, right? So this is going to be hard on the table. It's always hard on the table, man. I hate doing this on the table. There's one. At least Rockshox usually aren't. My God, man, look how... funny. Probably use dynamic seal on that. Okay, and 2. Now we go into my ritual of cleaning out the inside of forks. Clean the inside of the fork. First thing we're going to do is take our finger, plug the hole on the bottom on one side, and put a good amount of alcohol in it. All right, and then we're going to shake it around to break up all that old oil. Just shake it around. Be generous over here with the alcohol. Okay, and then first we're going to empty it out this way. Look how brown that was. All right, and we're going to do the same thing. Empty it out the other side. Now grab a small piece of paper towel for now. All right, and clean the top part over here. Right, let's make sure that all this is clean, see what I mean? And try and clean this area in here especially, because that's going to be hard to reach later, and ultimately dirt could be in there. We do not want it falling in when we put this fork back together. Okay, then grab a dowel, full paper towel, and a rubber band. Take the paper towel and leave about 1.5 inches on top. Loosely wrap the towel around the dowel. And then we take our rubber band, lock it all in there, tear a portion all the way around in order to make like a mop. Grab some alcohol, put it back in there, spray it good, and put the dowel with the towel inside. First turn counterclockwise to get that mopping action going. Then let it sit at the bottom so it could soak as much up as possible. And then the goal is we rub up and down and twist, and we try and clean not only the inside of the tubes, but both sides of the bushings. Right, the edges of the bushings, I should say, because dirt can't get trapped in them. All right. Twist back and forth. Okay, let's pull it out, take a look at it. Yep, there's definitely mud in there, without a doubt. That's like mud right there, so that's absolutely going to need a second round. Take all this side, put it on the side. Going to need the rubber band. And let's wrap another towel around it. Again, leave about 1.5 inches from the top. Loosely, very loosely wrap it. All right, just like that. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Let's tear a bit. Spray alcohol. Put that back in there and repeat. All right. That is looking better, though I do see some dirt still. I'm going to go back in there, do it a 3rd time. Usually 2 times is more than enough if you stay on top of your fork service. You're going to do the same to the other side. I'm not going to record it, but you should get it all by now, and I will be back when I'm done with both. Now that we cleaned the lower leg, let's inspect the bushings, right? So there's 2 sets, one up here and one down here on each side, right? Let's look at the bottom one. Use light as a reflection. We'll point it to the light and just take a look. You're looking for deep gouges, like serious like wear, right? That one looks good. That one in there, actually that one looks pretty good too. I mean, there is some wear, don't get me wrong, there's definitely wear on it, but nothing of significance, right? And then we look at the upper one, and again, there's a little bit of wear, but that's not the end of the world. There's no like deep damage, so those are good. Let's put this on the side. Now we're going to grab a little container, get them at a dollar store for $1.25. And we're going to put 15 weight, or in my case, I'm going to put 30 weight in here. Right? And what we're going to do is open up our seal kit. I'm going to grab the lower leg. pack and pull out the foam rings. We're going to take the foam rings. We're going to set them inside. Let's squish them now. Put a little bit of extra oil because we're going to use this oil to fill up the lower legs later. Right now what we're doing is just soaking. Press down on the rings and let them absorb as much oil. See all that air coming out of the rings? We want them to absorb as much oil as possible. Okay. Now grab a paper towel, clean your fingers. And let's close this up. Make sure we don't spill it more than anything. Put it on the side. Close your cap, or put the cap on the bottle of oil so you don't spill that. Next, we are going to work on the air spring. For the air spring, first we need to loosen and remove the top cap. 24mm chamferless socket preferred, flat socket. If you have a chamfered, a beveled edge socket, just be careful over here, right? So this might get a little bit stiff. Oh my God, this one was like totally loose. Wow, that was unexpected. Like this one was like totally loose. So let's, come on, let's unthread this thing. There we go. Now the whole tube will come out. It's almost like its own chamber, right? And there we go. That is our air spring chamber. Let's put this on the side. First, let's clean the inside of the upper tube. Clean the upper tube. First, let's start off with cleaning the threads, right? So grab a paper towel, turn this thing upside down and clean those threads out. Clean all that dirt from the top over here. Okay, so make sure you clean them real good for now. We're going to do it again later, but we don't want any of that extra dirt or mud and thick stuff going inside. Next, what we're going to do, just like we did with the lower legs, we're going to take a paper towel, wrap it around, loosely wrap it around, leave about 1.5 inches on the bottom, grab your rubber band, tie it in the middle, all right, create a mop, take alcohol, spray it in there. And the reason we're doing this is because if you look at the bottom, we can't clean it like you would typically clean a upper tube, right, where it's totally hollow. There is a face over here. So we got to clean everything at the bottom of that face, right? So go down there, or ledge, or whatever you want to call it. And then just go up and down, round and round. Let's try and clean it best we can. That's pretty dirty right there. I'm going to give it another shot and I'll be back. Grab a small paper towel, use your pinky, go in there and try and clean the backside of here, right? Best you can. Just go around there with your pinky and try and pull out whatever you can. And there we go. The inside's clean. Let's just take a look at there. Yep. I don't know if you can see that well. Oops, you can't. Oh well. But yep, it's clean. It's clean, no scratches, as to be expected. So now let's work on the air spring. As for the air spring itself, first we need to remove the top cap, right? We literally just pop it off. Use your thumb, push underneath, and there we go. Let's put that on the side for now. Turn around, and we're going to do the same to the piston on the bottom. All right. So now what we're going to do is let's clean everything. Okay, first let's take everything apart, I guess. So we have in order now, right? So we have an O-ring. Now if you look at this, this has a step down here that goes to the bottom. So let's face that down like that. We have a bumper. Oh, actually it's not a bumper. This is our bumper. And that is pretty much the whole assembly. To clean, first let's start with the tube. Spray alcohol in there. Grab a paper towel. Sit in there and saturate. Grab a paper towel. It's amazing, this thing stinks inside, man. It smells like fish real bad. Put it in. Squeeze it nice and tight. Make it a nice tight ball. And then grab a dowel, a wooden dowel, and poke it all the way through. All right, that's looking good. I'm going to do it one more time. Poke that one through. Now this one, we need to make sure that there are no markings in this thing, right? No scratches. If there's scratches in here, you are done. Air springs do not do well with scratching. This one's in perfect condition. Cool. Let me just clean the outside quick. Okay. Put that on the side. So as you can see, I open up the seal kit, right? Air spring and coil. These you will need if you have a coil. If you have an air spring, you're going to need these over there. So put those on the side. So first, let's start off with the main piston over here, right? Let's take off this one here. Okay. Scratch them out. Oh, jeez, man. I can't believe that happened. I'll be honest, I'm surprised that didn't happen before. Okay, well, I think I have enough alcohol on this thing. So let's just clean the seat real well. Get all that old grease off of here. Okay. Clean the shaft real good. Let's find its replacement. That has to be this one right there. Is it this one or is it this one? Ooh, that's hard to tell. Actually, it might be this one. These are very similar sizes over here. Yep. I think it is this one. Cool. That is really hard to tell. New, old. That looks thicker. Folks, that is hard to tell. You know, it might be this one here. Yes, it is. This one is a little bit thicker. Cool. So, new, old. Should have my SRAM butter ready. Have some SRAM butter. I'm going to fill up the seat. Ooh, not that full. Brand new bottle. All right, a little bit of grease on the O-ring, and we pop it in place. All right, so here's our bumper. We already cleaned this. We don't have to worry about it. Now, this is our travel spacer, right? So let's get into that later. So then we have our negative token. We have two O-rings here. That's got me concerned now. We have an O-ring and a quad ring. Did I use the right one on top? I think I did. I'm sure I did. Okay, so we have a quad ring. So now, let's again clean the seat. Let's get in the middle of the frame. Let's stop covering the light. Clean everything real well. Let's go inside. Let's try and clean the seat in there best we can. Don't use anything sharp. Make sure whatever you use is blunt. Let's do that one more time. It's actually pretty good. Okay. Let's push that through, and then let's take this. All right, that's pretty clean. Good. So now its replacements. That's got to be this one here. Old new. And this is obviously this one here. So now what we're going to do is grab SRAM butter, fill the inside seat with SRAM butter. Okay. This is a quad ring. A little bit of butter on the quad ring. Let's sink it down one side first. Now we need to make sure we do not twist this thing. Right? Come on, sink in. There we go. Get my other. There we go. Right side. And now let's try and pop it in place. Nearly there. Ooh, just that little corner. Come on. Come on. Ooh, so close. So close. Come on, get in there. Oh, it's just that little bit. Come on, get in there. Why are you being difficult? There we go. Oh, close. Okay, see if we could. There we go. Now, we need to verify that we did not twist it. Is it twisted? And I think it actually might be twisted right there. Let's see if it is twisted or not. Nope. We are good. All right. So now let's take some shrimp butter. Fill the outside. Seat. Put butter on our guide. And this guy is done. This one here. This has to be this one here. It's just that this one's been flattened out. So that is good. Now we have one more here. Let's clean the threads real well. Make sure there's no dirt in the seat. Okay, this is the replacement for that. Oh, man, brand new bucket. Let's put a little bit of grease on it. And let's pop it back into its seat. Let's drop it just like that. And we are good. Put it back together. First, we're going to take a little bit of grease and put it on the outside of the shaft. Just apply it all over the shaft nice and evenly, right? So first thing we're going to do, put in our bumper. Now, this is a travel spacer, okay? Yours is going to look potentially different than this one over here, right? So depending on how many of these you have, as far as height, right? So this is 10 millimeters, that's 20 millimeters, meaning this is for a, I think it's a 140. Yeah, this is a 140 travel, right? So the more of these you put, the less travel you have. The less of these you put, the more travel you have, right? So I think there's a chart out there. If there's a chart, I'll try and post it somewhere over here so you guys can take a look at it. But I'm going to put the travel spacer in first, right? Then we put in our negative plate. Now, be careful with this one. Again, this part here sticks down, right? So just be careful when putting this in. There we go. Then what we're going to do is take this O-ring and put it at the bottom just like that. Fits nice and snug. Okay, now what we're going to do, since I've got grease inside the threads, let's remove that grease now since it's easier. Okay. All right, then what we're going to do, take the tube, take your long finger, coat the inside with grease. Okay, now what I'm going to do is we're going to need to put this in. Let's take some grease. Let's create almost like a bit of a dam over here. Okay, or a moat. Why? Because what I'm going to do is grab about a cc of oil. All right, I'm just going to suck it up just a little bit. We're going to put it inside that moat, just like that. That's all we need, is just a bit. Okay, now we're going to press the whole thing up. Keep it all up like that. We're going to insert the whole thing in and make sure it locks into place, just like that. Before we put the upper cap back on, what I did is grab 2 cc's or 2 milliliters of the 5-weight oil, and we're going to inject it inside. Okay, and now we take our cap and we pop it on there. Now we're ready to put it into the upper tube. Put it in the upper tube. Carefully slide it inside. Make sure it comes out the other side. Grab your 24 millimeter. Always do it by hand first. I bet you this thing came off a little bit. Nope. Be very careful over here. Take your time. See what I mean by popped off a little bit? There we go. So let's put this in. I'll do it by hand. Go backwards until you feel a click. That should be it right there. There we go. Okay. Grab your ratchet. Okay, and then we grab our torque wrench, 28 Newton meter. All right, make sure it's sitting inside, and actually let's do it this way. There we go. 28.6, good enough for me. And our air spring is done. Now let's work on the damper. For the damper, the first thing we're going to do is remove the knob, 2.5 millimeter Allen. Just go in there. Now this is a TK, it's not a remote, right? So it's going to be a little bit different for a remote. So TK just has an on-off knob basically. Unscrew this screw, it's larger than usual. Take the screw, put on the side. Let's remove the knob. And let's clean any dirt or debris from underneath before moving to the next step. Next, we're going to take out the compression stack. Now, for that, we're going to need our 24 millimeter socket again. Again, flat socket, chamferless preferred. Now, you are better off mounting the fork either on your bike stand vertically or in a vise with, let's say, a 35 millimeter or a 34.9 millimeter will work just as well, clamp, okay? The reason is, when we take this off, it's going to be pretty stiff to get out actually, and then there's oil that we're going to have to spill out, and then we're going to have to pull out the rebound through this side as well, which could be a little bit tricky, right? Well, not tricky, but you got to be a little bit delicate so you don't scratch anything on the inside. This is an open system. There is no cartridge in here, right? So I'm going to do it like this by hand without mounting it, or at least most likely won't mount it. This is gonna be my first time doing this without mounting it. So let's see how it goes, but you should mount it if you can, okay? So first we're gonna grab our 24 millimeter. We are going to loosen that top cap. Okay. Now again, let's loosen this thing best we can, and then we're going to have to pull it out, which is going to be a little bit tough to do by hand now that I think about it. It really is. This is going to be a little bit tricky. So, man, it'd be easier if it was clamped. You get more leverage. Okay, I'm actually screwed out, that's for sure. What's stopping me over here is, again, that it's pretty stiff in there, and moving it out like this is going to be difficult doing it with both hands. Let me make sure I'm in a fully open position. That's got to be locked. That's fully open, so that's good. Make sure you're fully open. This, we're just going to have to slowly but surely wedge it out. That is not going to be easy, folks. It's going to be hard for me to get a grip on this. I might have to mount it. Like I said, it's in there pretty tight. There we go, slowly but surely. I think I'm getting it. Let's do this. Get enough leverage like this. Again, if you vertically mount this, this is going to be easier. You're going to be able to get better grip. Just twist it out, turn it out. We'll do it on top of that. And it will come out. You just got to twist it out slowly. Do I have enough now? Oh, I don't have enough leverage yet. Oh, this is all oily, great. Get another clean rag. Let's clean this thing. It's not helping that my fingers are all oily now. Actually, it was easier on this. Again, this is in there pretty stiff, folks. you're way better off mounting it to remove it. See what I mean? Now it's coming out a little bit easier. Once we get past those threads, it should get a lot easier, but then it'll also be exposed more, and the oil's going to want to come out. There we go. All right, that's exactly what I was talking about. So again, oil's going to want to come out. Now, still going to be stiff. Just slowly but surely wedge it out. Just twist it out. Okay, try and twist it out evenly. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, now we empty out the oil. All right. Whew. Like I said, this is much easier when it's mounted because you could grab it with two hands and put it up there. Now, I'm just pushing the shaft down so you can see that. All right, so let it empty out well, and I will be back when most of the oil is pretty much gone. As always, folks, when it comes to disposing oil, dispose of it properly. Don't put it down the sink. Don't put it down the drain. Don't put it in a toilet. Don't throw it outside. Don't put it in the garbage. Put it in a bottle that specifically states, do not drink, danger, and then give it to a local bike shop, an auto shop. They'll know how to dispose of it, all right? Next, we want to remove the rebound shaft, and that is going to come through the top. The thing is, we need to be very careful that we do not scratch the inside of this tube. So your best bet is to grab a small dowel that's about 6 or 8 millimeters, right? Put it inside the shaft, then fit it through, okay? And it should stay in the middle without really touching the sides. There we go, just like that. Now let's take this thing, let's clean it off for now, and let's put it on this side. Clean any oil spillage here. Actually, leave a bit of paper towel in here before the next step. Next, we're going to separate this retainer that's holding the seal head. Now, we need a flathead screwdriver. This is a small one. I might need a bigger one. Just go inside and slowly wedge it out, just like that, right? Just be careful with it. Don't be over aggressive, even though they give us a new one. So there we go, and it popped out. Next, we have to take out the seal head. First, let's try and press it in by thumb. There we go, right? Now, this is a bit tricky to get out, actually. You're not going to be able to do it with your fingers. You're going to need a dowel, okay? And the dowel has to fit inside. And this thing could be stiff, and we want to pull it out, push it out evenly. It's going to come out the top, right? Not the greatest design, but it is what it is. Just the glide ring sticks as it goes through. Let's take out the paper towel that we had in there, soaking up whatever oil, right? And just give it a couple of good taps, gentle taps, nothing too hard, and it will come out. Again, we just need to be a little bit careful with this. Thing's nearly out. There we go, we're getting there. Yep, nearly at the top, I can feel it. Again, be careful here. We want it to come out evenly, relatively evenly, right? So, what happens is, he gets a little bit angled and it makes him really hard to come out. So we need to be somewhat delicate over here. Not that this thing's the right size. If it was just a little bit smaller, it would definitely help out. There we go. Ta-da! We did it. For the upper tube, it's going to be same like before. We're going to grab a dowel. We're going to grab a paper towel. Loosely wrap it. Take our rubber band. Lock it in there. Just cut away some flaps. Create like a mop. Spray in some alcohol. Put in the dowel. We're going to go in there and we are going to clean all the oil out. right? Definitely dirty at the bottom. Let's go in there by hand. Again, using our pinky. The bottom, try and clean behind here. Oops, sorry about that. I work in pretty tight quarters. Yep, that's a lot of crap down there. Good. Clean one. Let's go in there again. Yep, a lot of stuff sits at the base over here. Try and clean it best you can. Okay, still some stuff in there. Come on. Okay, that's definitely better. Let's take a look at it. Again, we can't have any scratches on this one. That's looking pretty clean. Although I will say, if I didn't know better, I'd say there are some surface scratches up here. But over there won't matter as much. What really matters is the rebound. The rest of it looks good. Now another area we want to make sure we clean real well is the top part where the threads are, right? So I'll turn it upside down so nothing falls in. And just make sure you get any kind of debris out of there so it doesn't fall in when we put the compression cap back on. Very important, this. Cool, put it on the side. Next, let's start changing seals. So as you can see here, I opened up the damper kit, put all the seals in order on the side, right? So let's start off with the piston. So first, or the seal head, I should say. Let's take out the outer O-ring, and then there's one on the inside. All right, pop that one out. Now let's clean this thing good, because this thing's really, really dirty. Oh, I see all that in the seat. Oh, actually, that's not the seat. That's below the seat. Clean everything. We don't want any debris in this thing at all. All right. Now let's clean the seat. And then grab a clean one. Again, let's try and clean the inside seat. Put some towel in there. Grab a blunt pick, put it in the seat, because there's dirty in there too. Spin it around until we clean it. Oh, it's looking better. Let's do that one more time. Right. Oh yeah. That's looking real good, much better. Okay, so this is obviously the replacement for this one. And with you, the new, out with the old, this one has to be, so this one here. Where's this one here? I think it's the same size. Yep, okay. I'll grab this one here. So, let's put the inner one first. Let's fill the seat on the inside. Try it over here. Right over here. It's much easier with my, there's my thicker pick. Oh yeah, much better. Right, fill the seat. Take the small seal, press it in. Find the seat on one side. Press it in that seat, and then push it down the other side until it pops in. Now let's clean some of that excess grease. This isn't exactly a, all right, there we go. It's not an air spring, but a little bit of grease, just a little bit, thin coat on the outer ring. These greases are, well, this grease is compatible with the oil, so we really don't have to worry about it. Okay, now here we have a Teflon ring. Teflon ring, a glide ring. Well, technically it's Teflon, I believe. So let's split it. There we go. That with the old. Now the problem is, new one's going to be bigger. Clean the seat. Yeah. Okay. Take the glide ring, put it on. Again, we'll fit it when we put it back into the upper body. Now here we have two seals. We have one at the base down here and one at the top over here. All right. So the top one's the thinner one, the base one's the thicker one, right? Let's clean our seat. Actually clean the threads too while we're at it. Clean the base seat down here. Okay, this is the new one. Don't mix them up. That's got to be the new one. Yeah. Put them in. Then one on top. All right. Now we're ready to put it all back together. Before we assemble it, I went back and I applied a little bit of grease on these two seals over here. I don't think I did that before. I'd have to go back and look at the footage. So make sure you put just a little bit of thin film, particularly more important on the top one. All right. So the first thing we need to do is put the seal head in. Now this is the trickiest part of the job. First, we're going to grab some grease and we're going to put it at the bottom here. Okay, put a good amount. Well, good amount. Put it underneath, not on the top. We don't need it on the top. We need it more on the bottom than anything. Okay. So now this is, again, the trickiest part, right? Let's clean that part off. We need to insert this thing evenly the whole way down until the bottom pops up. So this here is the bottom, right? So first let's start off. Let me move this out of the way before I do damage over here. We're going to need this to lock it in place. So first we want to start off as evenly as possible. Do not start off on an angle, right? So just like that, and evenly, slowly take your time over here. Push it evenly past the threads. It's going to get to a point where it's going to be difficult. Just give it a good nudge, but make sure you do it evenly, okay? And then it'll start getting easier. Now, we want to make sure that we are even, okay? So then we're going to take a dowel, and we're going to try and keep it in the middle and evenly force it down. Now, take your time over here. Do it slowly. Don't rush this. Just slowly, evenly. If you try and rush this, it will go sideways on you. So until it goes all the way down. And are we out the back? Yes, we are, but we're not fully out the back. If you notice, one side is a bit crooked. So we need to go back in there again and straighten that side out. There we go. So now we are evenly in there. So now that the seal head's evenly in there, we need to install the retaining ring. The retaining ring is directional. There are 3 circles. Those stick out basically, right? Now, we can't just put it on top like this because the seal head will pop in. This is going to get a little bit tricky, and this is much easier when it's mounted vertically on a stand. I'm going to have to use my body. So basically, I'm putting the dowel back in there, and I'm going to press it up against my body because it's all I have right now. If this doesn't work, I'm going to have to do it off camera, right? So then again, those 3 dots stick down, right? So now what I'm going to do is basically try and force it in there. Okay, let it go in. Yep, that should be good. I can't tell. I can't smack it all that well to make sure I'm in there, but it looks like I'm in there. Yep, I am in there. The way you know you're in there is the teeth are going to hook on at the bottom and come over the top, right? So the teeth are sort of like that, and it will fall into that lip essentially. all the way around. Now this is the last tricky part. We need to put in the rebound shaft from the top down, but we really don't want to touch the sides on the inside, right? That's where this dowel is going to come in handy. We're going to take the dowel, we're going to insert it all the way through. Okay, and this is small enough where it'll fit inside. In fact, let me do it the other way around. Okay, and it'll help us guide it. Right now, when we put it in, we want to make sure the glide ring snaps in. It's going to want to expand. It's going to be a pain in the butt. Again, not the greatest ideas over here in my opinion, but it is what it is. There we go. That is in. So now we're going to force it down. Now, don't let go of this side here. What we're going to do is grab the dowel on the other side and slowly let it down, and we're going to help it guide it out. What happened? I bet you he came off on this side. I bet you anything. Nope, he didn't. I was doing good. Again, this is going to take a little bit of wiggling around because we got to get through the... There we go. All right, we made it through the seal on the inside. Sweet. Done. Now, before we install the compression, we need to fill it up with oil. We need to put in 210 milliliters or cc's of the 5-weight oil. Again, I'm using Maxima. If you are buying fresh from scratch, I should say, just buy the Rockshox 5-weight, all right? Now, a graduated cylinder is what you're gonna need. This one only goes up to 100 milliliters. So what I'm gonna do is fill it up 110, and then the last 100 I'll show you, and we will work in from there. What I'm also gonna do, and what you're gonna do, is you're gonna put a good amount of grease on this bottom seal now to help us slide it in, because this is going to be pretty stiff going in there. Okay, it's not going to be easy. All right, so good amount of grease there, and we are pretty much ready to move forward. Again, I'm going to pre-fill it, and we'll start in with the last 100 milliliters. All right, so I have 110 milliliters of the oil. I have the last 100 there. First thing we're going to do is cycle the rebound. Don't pick it all the way up and down. We just want to remove any air from underneath it out. Now, well, just be careful here. So again, don't fully cycle it. Just give it little cycles and check it. Make sure all the air is out from under it. I can't see, so I'm going to have to put this underneath the light so I can make sure that I am clear. I will be back in 2 seconds. Cleared out the rebound. There's no more air in there. I'm going to take the remaining 100 milliliters, can't talk, pour it in, make sure we get it all in there. Remember, we want to be precise here. Okay, our rebound shaft is fully extended. Make sure it's fully extended. Yes, it is. So now, this again, do it vertically. Okay, don't do it like I'm doing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and slowly screw it, sort of twist it in slowly, just like that. Okay, and then it's going to get pretty difficult at one point. You know what I forgot to get? My 24 millimeter to help me start this thing. I'll be back. Got my 24 millimeter. I'll start it by hand, always by hand, push down. And we're started, we're good, sweet. Like I said, this is way better vertically mounted, folks. Screw it all the way down. Okay, and then take our torque wrench, and once again, 28 Newton meters. Actually, that's too high. Let's do it like this. There we go. That's nice. Cool. 28.9. Before we test it, let's clean the knob well. Make sure we get any kind of dirt from the inside out of it. I sort of cleaned it before, but let's make sure it's all nice and clean, as well as the mount. Okay, now let's mount it. So this is the damper front. So we were in the fully open where this thing was sort of up like that. So let's take the screw now, screw it in. How they decided on a screw like this, considering all their other forks have very similar screws, I have no idea. You would think from a supply chain standpoint, we're trying to keep that consistent. Don't over tighten it, finger tight, okay? So we were in the open position. Best to test this vertically. Fully open position. We are pretty quiet actually, not all that bad. These forks will always make noise. Oops, sorry about that. So let's put in the locked. So now we're in the locked. Oh man, I can't, like if it moves half a millimeter, not even a millimeter, yeah, let's say a millimeter max. So we are well within specs. This thing's great. Let's put in the fully open again. And there we go. That's pretty quiet, folks. This fork is working great. Now let's finish up the 50-hour service. Finish up the 50-hour service. I opened up the lower leg seal kit, right? These are the wipers. I put the sag ring, which by the way, the fork didn't have a sag ring before. I don't know if you guys noticed that. And the crush washers, right? So first let's start off by removing the springs from the wipers. All right, then, actually let's do this now. Let's take a little bit of grease, put it on the outside. Again, Saran butter. Just put a thin coat on the outside of the wipers. Just like that. All right, then we're going to grab a foam ring. We're going to take it. We're going to put it in its seat. Make sure it's sitting nice and flat. All right, then we're going to grab our wiper installation tool. Remember the part where the steel rings faces down like that, so it sinks in. Then we're going to take this, and usually with Rockshox you can do them by hand. There's still dirt on this thing. Thought I cleaned it out pretty good actually. So you got to be careful. Dirt can fall in. I wonder where that came from. Huh. So now we're going to take the other foam ring, put that in its seat. Make sure it's sitting nice and evenly. Then let's grab our wiper downwards like this. And that is sitting nice and even. And this one's sitting nice and even. Perfect. So now we're going to grab grease. We're going to fill up the concave part of the wipers. All right. I'm generous over here because I don't know when people are going to do their next 50-hour service. And if you're not going to stay on top of it, a little bit more is better than a lot less, or even a little less. All right. There we go, just like that. Now, what we're going to do, since we have the opportunity, let's clean any excess grease from the back, because that's going to be really hard to get through later. Put it together. Let's start with our sag ring. We're going to put it on the air side first. Do not grease it. Put that in there. Then we are going to take one of the metal rings for the wipers on the air side, and then put the other one on the damper side. Look at all that wear, folks. Again, 50-hour lower service really prolongs that from happening. So, serial number facing you, crown facing down. Be careful over here. Sink one side in first, and then we sink in the other side, and then we bring it down. Make sure that we leave some space between the lower legs and the shafts on the inside so we can put in our oil, which is next. Before we fill it with oil, let's prep our nuts. So I removed the old crush washers, cleaned the threads. I cleaned the seats for where the crush washers sit on each nut. These are the new crush washers. So we're going to take them and we're going to put them in. Again, they seat inside that washer, right? For this particular fork. Just like that. Now, we need to fill it up with oil. This is a 35 silver TK. And if we look at this chart over here, it says 10 milliliters of 15 weight. I'm using 0W30 weight on each side, right? So I had already filled up this syringe with 10 milliliters. Let's take it, put it into the air side first. All right. That fills up that one. Now let's fill it up again at 10 milliliters and fill up the damper side. Just like that. And let's put this on the side for now. Now we are going to compress and make sure the shafts come out, or at least we can see them. in order to put our nuts in. Now we have two washers over here. One is for the damper. The one for the damper is hollow. You can see right through it. So this is the damper. So let's put this washer's nut first. And the other one's solid. That is for the air side. All right. So now that we have that in there, let's grab our 5mm. Do that one down. It's pretty tight there for now. Grab our torque wrench. 6.8 Newton meters. There we go. Make sure there we are. 6.9. And 6.92. Let's grab our rebound knob. Let's put it in, and we need to snap this in just like that. All right, let's test it. 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes you'll feel them click, sometimes you won't. Like I said, these aren't exactly the best rebounds. Next, we're going to put our springs back onto the wipers. Plastic pick if you have one preferred, but if you don't, just be careful with whatever you're using. That is one. And try and get outside all that grease. There we go. And that is 2. Next, we take alcohol, we spray it down, and we clean any excess oil, grease, anything that will collect dirt when we go riding. Get in all the small spots on the crown, right anywhere where oil may be sitting. You're just making your life easier later. And ta-da! And there you have it, folks. You just finished fully servicing a Rockshox 35 silver TK, in this case, A1 chassis fork. Very easy job. These are very popular forks. They come with a lot of bikes. A lot of you folks out there have them and you do not maintain them whatsoever. It is worth doing so. At a minimum 50-hour service, always super easy, always has the highest return on investment in my opinion. You want to prolong the life of your stanchions, stick to your 50-hour services and make sure you clean your stanchions every once in a while so too much dirt doesn't accumulate on the wiper. This air service on this, super easy. The damper service on this, again, super easy. There's barely any tools needed. So again, if you have this fork, stay on top of it. It'll do you justice until maybe one day in the future you go buy a fork, another fork that's a little bit more capable than this one. Doesn't mean this one can't use a little bit of love. What's next? So put your settings back to where they were. Make sure you put your air cap back on when you're done putting your air settings back to where it was. And oh yeah, after first few rides, make sure you do clean excess grease. That will come out so too much dirt doesn't again accumulate onto the wiper. And then put it on your bike and have a blast with it, all right? Maximize it for what it's worth. So, folks, if you like this video, please click that like button, click that subscribe button to see more videos, click that bell button, ding, in order to get notified when new videos get released, and more videos like this are coming. If you want to see a couple of videos right now, these two over there might be of interest. And until the next time, I hope all's well with all of you, and we will be talking to you soon. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.